anarchist left professors, and that's exactly why they come after this. So it's a big deal. That's where just throw this one out there for you. Do you know how many teachers unions have balked about Common Core? The one myth I didn't get to that ties into this, that I would have liked if I had a little more time, and I'm taking it out, was the myth that the only people who oppose Common Core are right-wing nut jobs. Just so you know, in January of this year, is there any way you could take the words New York State Teachers Union, rearrange them again to sound conservative? The New York State Teachers Union in January unanimously called for a unilateral pull-out of Common Core, and they called for the firing of the superintendent of schools who brought it there. In May of this year, 2 months ago, the Chicago Teachers Union, the most radical progressive teachers union in the country, this is a teachers union that 4 or 5 years ago okayed an educational paradigm for young kids, kindergartners, that would incorporate teaching masturbation techniques. That's how radical progressive they are, 5-year-olds. The Chicago Teachers Union pulled out and wrote a 30-point resolution. CTU superintendent of schools, the president of Teachers Union, Karen Lewis, she said that, she quote, "I agree with teachers and educators from across the country that the Common Core standards represent a federal intrusion into personal privacy and a watering down of educational freedom." So you've got the NEA, the largest teachers union in the country, who in February of this year called the implementation of Common Core totally botched, and said that the president, Dennis Van Roekel, said that the standards would not succeed without a major rewrite and input on the tests from teachers. That's a fact. The teachers didn't write. So you're going to hold the teachers. Who would say high-stakes testing? We're talking about teachers now. You're going to hold the teachers accountable for this stuff, and you don't let them write the tests. You don't let them grade the tests. And as we saw in New York this year, New York, Pearson administered the tests in New York this year, and they are the first tests that will not be released to the public once they're scored, which means teachers whose kids fail are not allowed to see the test to see what questions they got wrong. How is this a system geared toward maximizing educational opportunities for moms and dads?
Students and teachers have to sign confidentiality agreements
They won't
before
talk
they
about
sit for those exams.
Yeah, the proctors.
That's nuts.
The only teachers who see them are the ones proctoring the computer exams. There are no paper copies anywhere. It's PDFs on computers, and the only teachers that are allowed to see them are the ones who have to proctor the exams, and they're sworn to a secrecy statement. What about this screams to you? Right? Openness, transparency. And I agree with you. The standards themselves are kind of milquetoast. Right? They're slippery, there's nothing there, it's a lot of gossamer and ether. It's not that. It's everything that has been woven into them and been glommed onto them. And I just think it's impossible at this point to separate that. That's not a flaw in the system. That, to me, is the design.
So we're kind of running short on time. I want to make sure everyone has a chance to get some pizza and cake.
This one lady's been patient.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd like you to get to the bottom line and address the whole purpose of it besides the money. Is the ideology. If you're going to have a little brain, a little mind of mush, how are you going to get a hold of them? And what is the purpose? You're talking about Coleman, you're talking about the Zinn guy. What is their ideology? What's Gates' ideology of the worldview? It's very progressive, I'd say, / communist. What is the whole purpose of Common Core?
If you ask me in one word, if you force me to talk, and that would be the first for this evening, if you give me one word to describe Common Core personally, I would call it statism. I think the entire purpose, for about the last 40 years in this country, you guys tell me if you disagree with this. For the last 40 years in this country, it seems to be clear that our kids have been getting their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s, but as they've been getting them, they've been gradually being pushed left. I think that's hard to argue. But what I think Common Core represents is, for the first time in our history, the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s now are subordinate to the ideological components in this. Take the Common Core math. As Professor Milgram points out of the validation committee, it's one thing to want to teach kids math in different ways. I get it. Some kids are visual learners. I understand that. But it's not a matter of teaching kids traditional stacking math in elementary school and then branching out to incorporate other ways of doing it as a way of helping different kids. You're pretty much banning the traditional ways of doing math in favor of the new. And when we asked Professor Milgram, I asked Professor Milgram why he thought that was. Why didn't you vote for it? He said, because the only reason I ever heard from anybody at the Common Core when he was on the committee was it was a way to make sure that only the schools could help their kids with math.
Yep.
Not the family.
Designed to separate
that was a feature of
parents
the
and children.
program.